Hello everybody. Today I can solve candy corn problems by separating the triangles if the bases are involved, or putting top over top equals side over side equals bottom over bottom if the bases are not involved. So there's basically two types. We want to see if the bases are involved or if the bases are not involved. And in order to help us remember all this information, we have a song. So let's go through that now. Schlansky.com, YouTube, playlist. I'm getting close to 300 subscribers. Maybe I'll lose some. It's probably more likely, right? Common Core Geometry. Here you go.
Candy corn bases separate if there are no bases. Put the top over top, side over side, and the bottom over bottom. Candy corn bases separate if there are no bases. Put the top over top, side over side, and the bottom over bottom.
Yeah. So, if the bases are involved, separate the triangles. If the bases are not involved, we put the top over top, the side over side, and the bottom over bottom. Let's talk about what each of those things mean. First of all, I call these candy corn problems because they look like candy corns. You know those gross candies you get around Halloween time? Ugh. So I'll show you what I'm talking about if you go to images.google.com and we look at candy corn, those gross little things. So that's what these problems look like. They look like candy corns. They're triangles. They got some parallel layers to it. That's why I call them candy corn problems. I do not like candy corns. So it kind of looks like, again, a candy corn. So I call this and this the top of the candy corn. I call this and this the bottom of the candy corn. I call this and this whole thing, the side of the candy corn. And then I call these the bases. So you need to know that vocabulary in order to do these problems. So let's take a look at the first example. I see a candy corn. Candy corn, bases separate. Let's put the information into the picture. AT is 5, TB is 7, AV is 10. It's asking for VC. Bases separate. Are the bases involved in this question? Are the bases labeled with anything? No. If there are no bases, put the top over top, the side over side, and the bottom over bottom. Now, you're not doing all three. You're doing whichever ones you have. So let's start with top over top. Do I have both tops? Yes. So I'm going to put 5 over 10. Side over side. Do I have both full sides? Not exactly. Do I have both bottoms? Yes. So I'm going to put the 7 over the x. In this case, I didn't have the sides. I could have done it with the sides. It gets a little bit more complicated, but I have both tops. I had both bottoms. So I did top over top equals bottom over bottom. From here, I cross multiply and solve, just like we've been doing. 5x equals 70. Divide by 5. X equals 14. When you see a candy corn, determine if the bases are involved. If the bases are involved, separate the triangles. We didn't do that yet. If the bases are not involved, we put the top over the top, the side over the side, the bottom over the bottom. Whichever one of those we have is what we do. And make sure X counts as being involved, because we need to have X in the proportion somewhere. Let's take a look at number 2. First of all, candy corn problems always apply when you have the bases are parallel. So the bases being parallel, that's telling us that it's a candy corn problem. I call them candy corn problems. Other teachers don't call them candy corn problems because they come up with something that students aren't going to remember. I call them candy corn problems because they look like candy corn problems. What would you call these? They're overlapping similar triangles with parallel bases. So this candy corn's upside down. That doesn't really change anything. Are the bases involved? No. So we put the top over top, side over side, and the bottom over bottom. In this case, just like number 1, I have the tops and I have the bottoms. I want you to try and create a proportion and solve it from here. I'm going to wait for you for about 30 seconds, create a proportion, and then cross multiply and solve. Okay, top over top, 3 over 6, bottom over bottom, 1 over x. If you put 6 over 3 and x over 1, that's fine. But if you put the 3 over the 6, you couldn't put the x on top, which if the left-hand side goes on top, then the left-hand side goes on top there as well. You need to stay consistent. From there, you cross multiply and solve. 3 times x is 3x. 6 times 1 is 6. X equals 2. All right, let's take a look at number 3. CD is 3, DA is 2, AB is 10. Find DE. Here's my candy corn. Candy corn, bases separate. Are my bases involved in this question? Yes. So separate the triangles. Draw the small triangle, CDE, and draw the big triangle, CAB. Put the information into the triangle. So for the small triangle, CD is 3, DE is X. For the big triangle, and this is a little twist, CA is 5. Because CA is 3 plus 2, which is 5. And that's one of the most important reasons why I want you to separate the triangles. AB is 10. Now that we have our triangle separated, we do what we did last week. Put the corresponding sides on top of each other. 3 goes over 5. X goes over 10. And we cross multiply and solve. 5x equals 30. X is 6. So DE is 6. So if the bases are involved, separate the triangles, fill the information in. Be careful, you may have to add or subtract pieces, and go from there. Number 4, I see a candy corn. I like to always fill in the top so I get my orientation of what's going on. AE is 3, ED is 6, DC is 15. Find EB. Candy corn, bases separate. Are my bases involved in this example? Yes. So separate your triangles. Try and draw them as accurately as possible. So ABE looks something like this. And the big one is ACD. Looks something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but make it as accurately as possible. From here, I want you to fill the values in to the separated triangles. I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to do that. Fill the values in to the green and the blue triangles. Put the numbers into those pictures. Take about 20 seconds. Let's do the small triangle first. AE is 3. EB is X. Now the big triangle. CD is 15. And the little twist. AD is 9. From here, I want you to create your proportion and solve. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. Create your proportion and solve. Okay. I put my corresponding pieces on top of each other. 3 goes over 9. X goes over 15. From there, I cross multiply and solve. 9x equals 45. X is 5. So BE is 5. So, two types of candy corn problems. If the bases are involved, if they're labeled with something, separate your triangles. If they're not, then you put your top over your top, your side over your side, your bottom over your bottom. Very important topic. Every reading is to ask a question on this, and we're going to spend a lot of time on it. Let's take a look at this one. AC is 10, so this whole thing is 10. BA is 4. CE is 3. It wants you to find EB. I see a candy corn problem. Candy corn, bases separate. Are the bases involved? No. If there are no bases, put the top over top, the side over side, and the bottom over bottom. Now, you might need to add or subtract in these questions. Right now, do I have both tops? Let me get a different color. No. My right top is 3, my left top is blank. Do I have both bottoms? Yes. So I definitely have 4 over x for my bottoms. Do I have both full sides? I have 10. I don't have this full side. So you have a couple of options here. The easiest thing to do would be to subtract. So on the left-hand side here, if this whole thing is 10 and this piece is 4, then this missing piece would be 10 minus 4, which is 6. And now that I have that, I have both tops, so I would put the 6 over the 3. Another option, I could have added these over here and made it x plus 3. That would work as well. That gets a little bit more complicated, but not too complicated. You will have to do ones like that, but in this case, it would be easiest to have just subtracted the 10 and the 4. So I'm just going to erase this so it don't make anything complicated right now. And from there, you cross multiply and solve. 6x equals 12 divided by 6. X equals 2. EB is 2. So again, you may need to add or subtract pieces in order to get a top, a bottom, a side, a base. Within these questions, do expect to need to do that. So I just want to skip ahead to number 10, where there's no picture. And outside of that, I'm just going to let you practice. So, no picture. In triangle ABC, so I'm going to draw triangle ABC. D is a point on AB, and E is a point on BC, such that DE is parallel to AC. So there's going to be a line segment DE. It's going to be parallel to AC, and D is going to be on AB, E is going to be on BC. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds right now to try and draw that into the picture on your own. All right. D is on AB, E is on BC, such that DE, so line segment DE, is parallel to AC. There's your picture. There's your candy corn. We proceed from there. I'm going to give you an opportunity to put the information into the picture on your own. And then I want you to decide if we're going to separate the triangles or put the top over the top, the side over the side, bottom over bottom. I'm going to give you about a 30-second head start. Okay, DB is 2, DA is 7, DE is 3. It's asking for AC. Candy corn, bases separate. Are the bases involved? Yes. So, separate your triangles, fill the information into your new triangles, and then create proportion solve. So I'd like you to do that on your own right now. I'm just going to ask you to pause this video, do the problem, and then unpause it. Okay, so at this point, everybody should have completed this problem. I'm going to go over it now. Since the bases were involved, we're going to separate our triangles. So I've got D, B, E is the small one. I've got B, A, C is the big one. The small one's usually easier. 2 for BD, 3 for DE. The big one, well, BA is 9. Again, expect to have to add or subtract things. AC is 9. Now that I have my triangles separated, I'm going to put the corresponding pieces on top of each other. 2 over 9, 3 over x, cross multiply, 2x equals 27, x equals 13.5. So, Candy corn, bases separate. If the bases are involved, separate your triangles, fill the information in, put your corresponding pieces on top of each other and solve. Expect to have to add or subtract. If there are no bases, if the bases are not involved, then you're going to put your top over top, your side over side, and the bottom over bottom. Again, expect to have to add or subtract. In this question, I had to subtract the 10 and the 4 to get the 6. So expect to have to add or subtract, and then just put the tops on top of each other, the bottoms on top of each other, or the sides on top of each other, depending on what information they give you. And again, cross multiply and solve. Your classwork/homework is to finish candy corn problems. We're going to see a lot more of candy corn problems over the next week. Every single region asks a question on it, so we're going to make sure we're good with it. All right, so again, practice, finish whatever you didn't do in class for homework, and have a great day.